Hello from Brussels, my name is Philipp Gasperon. Welcome to the Unilateral Conduct Working Group. Our mission is to examine the challenges of analyzing unilateral conduct of dominant firms and firms with significant market power. Before starting the panel on remedies, the co-chairs would like to present the various work streams of the group to you. Together with the colleagues of the CCSA of South Africa and of the JFTC of Japan, we will present to you our multi-annual project on dominance in the digital era, our webinars and workshops. After that, we will also give you some feedback on how colleagues of various agencies throughout the ICN have used guidance documents produced by the Unilateral Conduct Working Group in their daily work. Last year, we launched our multi-annual project on dominance in the digital era. We started with a survey on the assessment of dominance or significant market power in digital markets. The aim of the survey was to collect information on your experience of assessing dominance in digital markets and to find out whether these markets require particular considerations or assessment techniques. We also wanted to know whether specific guidance on the issue is needed. We published a report in July. It is available on the ICN webpage. I would like to thank the many agencies and NGOs that responded to the survey. Your active contribution allowed us to gain a good overview on the experience and current thinking in various agencies. Our report covers a number of issues. What are the typical characteristics of digital markets? What is the relevance of market shares in these markets? And what are typical barriers to entry and expansion? And do they require specific considerations in this context? The findings of the report are valuable, both as a stock-taking exercise and because they provide orientation on the issues that may need to be deepened and on which further guidance is possibly needed. By the way, a majority of responding agencies confirmed that they would like such further guidance. We will have the opportunity to discuss the report with you in a dedicated session on the 27th of October. Please pencil that date in and do join us. We also plan to hold webinars on the topics. For example, on the relevance of market shares, the metrics to use, how to compile them. We think that this will help us to build solid ground for future possible guidance. So there are many opportunities for you to join in and to contribute to this project. We are therefore looking forward to continue working together with you all.
Hello from South Africa. I am Nonkululeko Mweketsi from the CCSA. On behalf of the Unilateral Conduct Working Group co-chairs, I am excited to share some highlights from this past year's webinars. 3 webinars were held this past year. The first webinar, held in October, focused on dominance in two-sided platforms. Speakers from the Russian Federation, Brazil, United States, and the DigiComp shared the difficulties, challenges, and learnings of their respective jurisdictions in assessing dominance in two-sided platforms. This topic was so well received that the co-chairs decided to hold a second installment in December to allow for more agencies and NGOs to share their experiences. This time, speakers from Mexico, Turkey, Germany, and an NGO of the European Commission took us through different court decisions and cases which involved two-sided platforms. The third webinar was on the Vertical Restraints Project. The discussion centered around vertical restraints, remedies, and explored how best to address market harm in the digital era. This webinar was a culmination of a 3-year-long project that was initiated by the working group in 2016. The aim of this project was to examine the effects of various types of vertical restraints their implications for competition in relevant markets. We are very grateful to the ACCC who led this project and hosted the webinar. In the 2020-2021 year, we have planned to hold at least 3 webinars on issues of mutual interest that arise in analyzing unilateral conduct. As already explained by our colleague of the DigiCom, we will be holding a webinar on the Assessment of Dominance in Digital Markets project. And we envisage to hold webinars on enforcement in the pharma sector with specific reference or focus on the latest developments in patent settlements and excessive pricing, on abuse of dominance in regulated sectors, and finally, the abuse of superior bargaining position in the digital age. We certainly hope that you'll join in on the discussions and we look forward to your participation. Thank you.
Greetings from Tokyo. I am Rei Yamada of the Japan Fair Trade Commission. On behalf of Unilateral Conduct Co-Chairs, I'm very pleased to tell you a few words about the Unilateral Conduct workshops organized every ICN year. The 8th ICN Unilateral Conduct Workshop was held last November in Mexico City and was kindly hosted by the Federal Economic Competition Commission of Mexico, COPES. 144 delegates, including ICN member agencies and NGAs representing 32 jurisdictions, participated in the workshop. The plenary sessions of the workshop focused on the issues surrounding the assessment of unilateral conduct in digital platform markets. In a plenary session titled Recent Development in Market Definition and Market Power of Digital Platform Markets, speakers from the EU, Portugal, Italy, and the US discussed challenges that competition authorities face in defining and analyzing digital platform markets. Specifically, the speakers discussed the characteristics of multi-sided platforms, when multi-sided markets need to be defined and how their market definition differs from defining traditional one-sided markets, and the challenges related to dealing with zero-price products, both when defining markets and when assessing market power. In another plenary session titled Timed Recent Theory and Practice in Digital Markets, speakers from the US, Australia, Japan, Russia, and Spain shared experience with signing cases from their respective jurisdictions. In addition to the plenary sessions, the workshop also offered practical hands-on breakout sessions discussing various topics regarding competition in digital platform markets using hypothetical case scenarios. The plenary sessions and the breakout sessions gave an ample opportunity to participants to share experience, express doubts and ask questions, and importantly, learn from each other. Thanks to the great organization and the warm hospitality by COPES, the workshop was a great success and a memorable event. Now let me turn to the next workshop, which is planned to take place in India in March 2021. We warmly thank the Competition Commission of India CCI for their kind and generous offer to host the event. Although we are still facing the difficulties caused by the COVID-19, we are reflecting on the content of the workshop with our CCI. Further details will be notified shortly. We hope to see you all in person in India next time. Thank you very much.
An implementation story. Use of UCWG guidance documents. Colleagues of competition authorities in ICN, for example, say, the ICN Unilateral Conduct Workbook is a valuable resource for ACCC staff, including those investigating competition issues in digital markets. The workbook's guidance on key concepts in the assessment of dominance is especially helpful for staff undertaking unilateral conduct investigations for the first time. CADE finds the UCWG work of great relevance and has been consulting its work products as a reference in the investigation of abuse of dominance. The ICN Unilateral Conduct Workbook, for instance, was an excellent source when we conducted internal studies about digital markets, including aspects linked to unilateral conduct. We strongly recommend ICN members to consult the UCWG work products and engage in the group's activities. AGCM staff find the ICN recommended practices to be very useful as they remind us that the analysis of dominance does not stop with the assessment of market shares, but includes conditions of entry and expansion, affecting the durability of market power, as well as other criteria such as buyer power, economies of scale, and scope or network effects, and access to upstream markets or vertical integration. The various viewpoints of other competition agencies concerning the hypothetical cases which were provided in the Vertical Restraints Multi-Year Project 2016 to 2019 were useful for our law enforcement. The UCWG documents have allowed us to gain perspective on the application and enforcement of competition policy in different regulatory contexts and jurisdictions, thus improving the quality of our own analysis. The ICN recommended practices on the assessment of dominance or substantial market power constitute a very insightful guidance for our case handlers on how to approach the finding or lack of dominance, especially in complex cases. Thank you. Enjoy the Unilateral Conduct Working Group plenary on remedies.